Alright, so day 4 is upon us now, and the first step of what I need to do now is I need to flush out both of the radiators. So you can see I have them back out of the case. They're not in the case anymore. So pretty much what I'm just going to do is take distilled water, run it in, or squishy, like shaky something or other. Shaky the radiator. And then that'll clear out anything that might be left out inside of them. It's really just a good practice, because who knows, there could be stuff left over inside of them. Hopefully not, but this is just a way to make sure that there's nothing in there that could get flushed out into the loop later on. So I'm going to do that now. And then next, they're going to most likely go back into the case. And then from there, honestly, I think I'll actually be pretty close to ready to making bends at that point. I got yesterday the Biocide. Yeah, there we go. So this is good. As you can see, we are in the workshop now, complete with a miter saw, a bucket of water, some tubing and the thingy that goes in it, a heat gun, the computer, and a cat. Say hi, kitty. He's not very happy. No, kitty! Don't squirm! Bad kitty! No! What? Anyways, so what I'm hopefully going to do first is go from this. No, cat, no, that's a sponge. Stop it. No. Eat your food. Hopefully we'll go from here to here. We're going to see how that works. The main idea is I'm going to do a bend about here, and then the length of the tube, and then I'm going to do a bend about here. We're going to see how this works. I'm probably going to end up cutting it in half at some point. I don't actually have the hacksaw out. I'm going to have to grab that at some point. So let's see how this bending goes. Alright, so right now we have horrible lighting, and 2 bends done after about 2 hours. This was the first one. It's going to get done again. It looks bad. This here I heated too much, so it's kind of like bent in because it shrunk a little bit because I heated it too much. It's not sitting specifically level. I could fix that by just shortening this a little bit, but I don't like the way that this turned out. It's a little bit too angular. This, on the other hand, this was my second one. It doesn't necessarily sit the most even, but it actually looks pretty good, I would say. This one I got on my second try. This one it took about 5. I think this was number like 3. I heated that way too much. This one was number 2, I think. I heated that one too much. This was number 1, I think. No, this was number 4. And I bent this one past 90. So this was number 1, and I left way too much. So I could have just cut off the bottom here, but again, it wasn't the most perfect bend. This was my first try at the other bend. This would have started like this. The problem with this one is that this bend was too long, this section here. Pretty much everything else was fine. Obviously, the second 2 bends on this are not the greatest. The way it works is you hold it over the heat gun and you turn it. That way it heats all of the sides evenly. But what'll happen eventually is it'll kind of get all like mushy, obviously, because it's heating up and it's going to soften. And then if you're turning it with only one hand and you're kind of just holding on to it with the other hand, it'll start to twist. This part that's softened will start to twist. And that's what happened. Yeah. That's what happened right here, so that's that little thing anyways. It was close, but I probably would have redone that again anyways. Now this one fits pretty nice. It's not like super perfect, but it looks pretty good for what I would say. So that's what that is. The next one I'm going to do will be from up here and go down, over, and into the block there. The next one will come out of the bottom of the block here out into over there and into that that one back there, that reservoir, that radiator back there. And then from out of the radiator, it's going to go down. And then, I guess this is all, I'm doing this inverse. So this is actually the last section, because the reservoir is going to start down here and feed into the inlet of the pump right there. And then the pump's going to come out here, and then up into that. And then it's going to come out of there, and then into the bottom of this block. And then from here, it's going to go into this radiator up there, and then blah, and then blah. This is the part I need to address still. Now, the problem that I made is that these fittings, I know you can't see them very well, but these fittings that I have for in between the graphics cards, they are for 12mm outer diameter tubes. So you can look at this and see, focus, and see, obviously this has been cut by me, handily done. So you can see how thick the wall is. So this is 13mm on the outer diameter, and it's 10 on the inner. These fittings in there that you can probably barely see, they are for 12mm on the outer diameter. So what's going to happen most likely is that I have 2 extra fittings here, because I figured there's a decent chance I might actually need an extra one or whatever. So I have 2 extras. That will cover me for half of these. So somewhere along the line, I am going to be buying 2 more fittings. Whoops, that's not good. But on the bright side, we do have plenty of pipe left still, but I still have 6 3-foot sections left. So I'm very good on pipe. I have 2 right here, and I have a whole other one that I haven't touched yet. And also, I burnt my elbow. Heat guns get hot. Remember that. Okay, so doesn't look like I've done a whole lot, but to put things in perspective, the last video that I shot was at about 9 o'clock, and it's midnight now. So I have 2 more of the bends done. As pathetic as that sounds, it was more of the question of how to do them rather than doing them. So the one I have now is the one from the reservoir into the pump, and then the one out of the pump into the radiator there. As it stands, for the loop to be actually pretty much done, as far as I can get it right now, I only need 1 more bend, which is out from the CPU block there into the radiator there. Yeah, there's a good reason why I'm saving that one for tomorrow. Note how I said tomorrow. Like I said, it's midnight, so I'm tired, and it took me way too long to do these other ones. This bend, it's not very difficult, but it took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tries to get it. Why? I don't know. I was probably trying to do it a little too quickly, and every single time it was off by just a little bit. But then finally, I realized that why would I do that when I can just move the pump? I don't have the pump secured in anymore. I had it tied in through those little things with these twist ties. Bad focus, but I had it tied in with twist ties. There are little holes in these feet things that it has, and I tied it through the bottom little mesh and tied it down. That would be the air. Aside from that, I just took the twist ties out, and then I could just swivel and move the pump wherever I wanted. And it did the same thing with this bend here, because this bend's not perfect. It's not even straight. But you know what? God damn it, no one's gonna see that one. It doesn't matter. What I have left, I have these little bits, and I have 3 more. This is 1, and I have 2 more in here, in this one, to make the bend from the CPU block to the radiator. You can see it coming out of the radiator, or coming out of the block right there. The problem is that I can't make that sharp of a turn with the bend. So what's going to have to happen is that it's going to have to come out further, then come a ways this way, and then bend back towards the right side, and then come over to the radiator. Then again, it doesn't seem to be any worse than doing bends like this, how I was trying to do the reservoir. I was originally going to try to do it like that, but I spent just as many times fucking up on that. There's another one. And here's another one. I fucked up as many times on this as I did making the S. The main thing that needs to be done is this bend, obviously. That's the only bend I have left. But afterwards, these 2 are the next priority to be redone. This one, I guess maybe I could. I'm actually pretty content with it. It'll honestly depend on how the other 2 turn out. If the other 2 turn out looking a shit ton better than this one, then it'll get redone. Otherwise, it's just going to stay, because honestly I don't think that's looking that bad. Day 4, we're done. Day 5, Day 5 eagerly awaits. Oh, and by the way, I did order more fittings for here. They will be here on Monday at some point, I think, if I remember. So, yep, that's pretty much it now. So, I will catch you guys in Day 5. I don't know what's happening yet. Probably me failing more. My elbow's still burnt.